Hello everyone and welcome to another FPL video here on the channel I Sabi FPL. It's time for Game Week 3 and today I'll be going through my team selection for the game week. Every game week I go through my team selection, run through my transfer plans or transfers I've already made and why I've selected the players I've done in a video. So if you want to keep up with my team all through the season or you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell and let's get onto it. Just before I go on to talk about my team for Game Week 3, I'd like to go through over how I did in Game Week 2 and how my players performed. So I ended Game Week 2 with a total of 65 points and a total Game Week rank of 2.7 million. 65 points of the Game Week wasn't so bad, being compared to the fact that FPL managers generally in the world average a total of 57 points. So I had Ramsdale in goal for his 1-pointer, Trent and Robertson for 3 and 2 points respectively, and then Cancelo and James in defense for their 11 and 7 points. Again in Game Week 2, we saw how bad Liverpool did in defense position, and going forward, their defensive assets are not one that we could trust at least the start of the season. They haven't had the best start yet, picking up 2 draws in 2 games and just having 2 points. It's not the Liverpool we've seen in previous years and they're not having the best of starts. I've even decided to let go of one of the 2 defensive duo and I'll talk about that when I share my team selection. So in midfield, I had Bailey, Salah as my captain to get 4 points, Rashford with his 1-pointer and Martinelli with his 8 points. So majority of FPL managers were disappointed by the fact that Bailey wasn't started after Gerrard has said he's looking sharp in training and everything. And to have him come off the bench in the second half for his 1-pointer was quite disappointing. Then Rashford, and generally Man United was very terrible this game week. And going on to the next game week where they play Liverpool at home on Monday night is going to be one big test for them. We look forward to seeing how they will take on Liverpool. Up front, I had Gabriel Jesus who was my vice captain with his 19 points and then Kane with his 8 points. I eventually ruled the transfer, of which I was thinking about moving on Kane to Erling Haaland in the last team selection video. And this wasn't so bad a decision because eventually Haaland ended up with only 5 points and Kane ended up with 8. So in my bench I had Ward for his 1-pointer, Herrera for 3 points, Neco Williams for his 7 points, which was quite impressive, and then Asher for his 0 points. With the way Neco Williams did and performed, this game I may consider starting him for his game against Everton. I'll look forward to seeing how he do. So that's how I did in Game Week 2. And now let's go over to look at my team selection for Game Week 3. So to start Game Week 3, I'll start with Ramsdale in goal. I don't see any reason to compete him with Ward, being that Ramsdale played Bournemouth. Though it's an away match, I feel they will keep a clean sheet in the game. In defense, I have Trent, Walker, Cancelo, James and Neco Williams. So the major person I'd like to talk about in defense is Kyle Walker. I brought in him for the Newcastle game, hoping that will possibly return with the clean sheet. Though they signed Joe Gomez for Man City, and there are talks that Joe Gomez will play in the left position and then Cancelo will have to move to the right. Kyle Walker is quite injury prone and may face some rotation in the coming game weeks. But since we've had nothing concrete to indicate that he will not start, I feel it's a good option. And with Man City's performance in defense, I feel the double up of Man City's defense is better than the double up of Liverpool currently. Just talking about the transfers I've made, I brought Kyle Walker in and 2 other players, though I had 2 free transfers, and I currently have taken a hit of -4. In midfield, I'm going to play Salah and Martinelli. So note that I brought Rodrigo in for Rashford in order to free up some funds for the extra forward I've decided to acquire for this game week. Martinelli looks good going into the Bournemouth game, and then Salah may probably be my captain going into the Man United game. Because Man United currently are still a side struggling to get things together, and Salah could well capitalize on this. Despite their poor performance in the first 2 games, I feel Liverpool will do well in this fixture, and Salah could be heavily involved in the goals. Now talking about the decision I've made up front, I've gone with Tony, Jesus, and Kane. So the transfer altogether I made was Kyle Walker, Rodrigo, and Tony in for Robertson, Rashford, and Asher. Unlike last season, this season the players in the forward position are now scoring points for us early on. And with this structure, I've decided to go with Tony up front. So I could likely play Tony, Jesus, and Kane every game week in the next 3 or 4 game weeks. And with Brentford's good run of fixtures in the next 4 to 5 game weeks, I don't see any reason why I should not own Tony right now. Going into this Fulham game, Tony may be one to keep an eye on, and he may perform excessively. In the last game, there were talks about how Man United was so bad, but we need to look in the direction that Brentford was also very good. And with how they are playing and how confident they are currently, Tony at 7 million up front is not a bad choice. Okay, now just before I wrap up, I'd like to talk about my team value and how people have been chasing the price rises and price drops in this first game weeks. I particularly did not start the season chasing price rises and getting my team value up. But with the way managers have been so aggressive with transferring out players that do not do well this season and with the aggressive price drops we've seen, it's something I will consider doing. For example, I could have easily gotten Walker and Tony in for Robertson and Asher if I made the transfer as a Saturday night. But because I wasn't deciding my transfers and I wasn't settling for sure if these are the players I want to bring in, I delayed and it kind of outpriced me and it cost me a hit in making this move. So going forward for these early game weeks, I'll try as much as possible to chase the price rises in order to add up to my value for later in the season. It's something that could help later in the season, and I won't mind chasing it now. So that's my team selections for game week 3. Hopefully this team comes good after the game week. I'll be back tomorrow for the game week preview video where I'll talk about some pressing topics for game week 3, give my opinion on them, and then talk about captaincy. So if you would not like to miss this video, be sure to subscribe and put on the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!